So you're thinking about buying a house in Toronto? That's probably one of the biggest moves of your life. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 6 steps to buying a house in Toronto, and I'm going to get into it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about buying a house in Toronto or the Greater Toronto area, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so that you can learn my strategies for getting the best price for your next home. My name is Rochelle Manguino. I'm a local real estate agent right here in Toronto, Ontario. For the last 7 years, I've been helping people just like yourselves move to the Greater Toronto area, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, just give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or even schedule a Zoom call down in the description below. I'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Toronto. So let's get right into it. This is how you buy a house in Toronto. Step 1, save for a down payment. The first and most important step in your home buying journey is having enough money to actually buy a home, or at least enough for a down payment. How much money do you need for a down payment? In Ontario, if your purchase price is under $500,000, then you can have as little as just 5% of the purchase price for a down payment. For houses that are between $500,000 and $1 million, your minimum down payment is 5% on the first $500,000 and then 10% on the remaining amount. And then for homes over $1 million, your minimum down payment is 20%. For more detail on how to calculate the minimum down payment needed for your next home, I have a link down in the description below. But here's the thing. Although you can purchase a home with these minimum amounts, I do recommend you save for a down payment of at least 20% under any circumstances, because doing so will save you thousands of dollars on interest and insurance. In Canada, if you have less than a 20% down payment, you must pay mortgage insurance. It's a requirement. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, or CMHC for short, they apply these insurance premiums to your mortgage. The premium amount varies depending on the amount of your mortgage and how much down payment you have, but can range anywhere between 0.6% and 4% of your mortgage amount. For example, if you purchase a home for $900,000 and you put just the minimum down payment required, your insurance premium would be $33,400. So it would be in your best interest to save as much as you can for your down payment, at least 20% of the purchase price if possible. That way you can avoid paying the insurance premium altogether. Now, if you don't have at least 20% saved up for your down payment, that's okay too. If you happen to be a first-time home buyer, the Canadian and the Ontario governments have programs in place to help offset the cost of buying a home. These programs include the Home Buyers Plan, which allows you to borrow up to $35,000 from your RRSPs for a down payment. The First-Time Home Buyer Incentive, where the government will give either 5 or 10% of your home's price to put towards your down payment. And then the provincial and municipal land transfer tax rebates, where you can get up to $4,000 back in Ontario land transfer taxes, plus an additional rebate of up to $4,475 if the house you buy happens to be in the city of Toronto. I have links with more detail to these incentives down in the description below. FYI, even though your insurance premium can all be paid upfront in one lump sum, you do have the option to pay them in installments. So talk to your realtor to connect you with a lender who can add your premium to your mortgage payment so that you have one predictable payment for your home every month and you can budget accordingly. That said, that brings me to step 2 in the home buying journey, connecting with a real estate agent. Working with an experienced real estate agent that has a strong understanding of the Toronto housing market is crucial, especially for first-time homebuyers. Having an experienced agent can give you clarity throughout the home buying process and make sure you get the best possible price for your next home. I've been helping buyers, sellers, and investors all over the GTA for the last 7 years. If you're looking to purchase a home in Toronto or the surrounding areas, then give me a call. I would love to help you make a smooth move to Toronto. Step 3. Get pre-approved for a mortgage. You need to get pre-approved for a mortgage because that way you'll know how much you can afford and you can start looking for homes in that price range. But it also adds to your negotiating strength because it shows sellers that you're serious about purchasing their home and you have the financial means to do so. When you first apply for a mortgage, your lender will take a look at a bunch of different factors regarding your financial history, but specifically, they're going to look at your income and your credit score. To get an insured mortgage, your credit score needs to be at least 600. The higher your credit score, the better your interest rate and your lending options. If you need to improve your credit score to purchase a home, then I have 3 pro tips for improving your credit. Number 1 is to limit credit inquiries on your account. 2 is to avoid late payments on your credit cards. And 3 is to maintain an overall good credit history. Along with a good credit score, having a stable income will also make getting a mortgage easier. If your income is less steady because you're self-employed or you're a contractor, for example, then plan in advance by putting money aside as an emergency fund, because knowing how much you can afford and what you're comfortable spending is key to finding a home that you feel good about. It's also important that when looking for a mortgage loan, you shop around for a lender that has the best interest rate for your needs. Now, that may seem obvious, but the reality is that most people go to their bank where they have their checking or savings account with. However, my pro tip is to get a mortgage broker. The difference between working with your bank versus a mortgage broker is that banks only provide their own mortgage rates and products. Their selection is limited, and you are responsible for negotiating your own rates. On the flip side, mortgage brokers have access to multiple lenders and mortgage rates. And what they do is they shop around different lenders. They have a portfolio of different banks, credit unions, even B lenders that they work with, and they find the best mortgage rates and terms on the market for your specific needs. For example, Bank A, who you do your everyday banking with, they may offer mortgages at 1.9%, but go across the street to the next financial institution and they've got rates at 1.2%. That could mean a savings of thousands of dollars over the length of your mortgage term. Plus, the mortgage broker does all of that shopping around for you and you don't pay them a cent because they get paid by the lender. So their services to you are free. On top of all that, mortgage brokers work on commission, meaning they've got skin in the game and they will do everything they need to do to make you happy. For the mortgage broker that I personally recommend, feel free to give me a shout. All of my contact information is down below. I'll tell you about a crazy time that me and my clients were in a fast-paced bidding war. Basically, my buyers found their dream home on day 1. They needed a mortgage pre-approval fast, and my mortgage broker came through in the nick of time. It was amazing. By the way, if you are getting value out of this video so far, then don't forget to give me a thumbs up and hit the red button below so you can subscribe to my channel. You'll get all of my tips and strategies for purchasing your next home in Toronto. All right, step 4, look for homes. Now that you know how much you can afford and what you're comfortable spending, you and your realtor can start looking for homes together. This is the exciting part. For most people, factors such as commute time to work, proximity to family and friends, neighborhood amenities, safety, and school rankings, they all tend to be top of mind when considering where to move. In terms of commuting, you obviously want to be comfortable in your daily commute. Just keep in mind that if you are looking outside of the city, you may get more space for your budget, but that may also add on hours to your daily commute. Similarly, being in a neighborhood close to good schools is important to a lot of young families, but often you'll find high costs of living near some high-ranking schools. So, as you go through your search, it can be tempting to expand your search outward and raise your budget, but it is important to continue to weigh out the pros and cons and look only for homes that you can afford. Currently in Toronto, homes tend to sell for more than the asking price. So, for example, if your budget is $1 million even, then you'd be safe to look for homes listed in the $930,000 to $980,000 price range. For more information on particular neighborhoods in the GTA, check out the other videos here in my channel. I detail some of the more popular neighborhoods in Toronto and the Greater Toronto area that people are moving to, places like Whitby, Burlington, North York, just to name a few. I do neighborhood drive-through so you can see what housing looks like in these top neighborhoods in the city. You learn about the current housing market, price points, nearby amenities, school rankings. Also, you get a good picture of the kind of home that you can get in Toronto and how far your budget can take you. All right, step 5. The next step in the home buying process is, now that you found a house that you like, you need to make an offer. Your offer will outline everything from the price you're offering to pay, the things you want included in the sale, like appliances or light fixtures, your preferred closing date, and most importantly, you've got conditions that need to be met for the deal to go through. Depending on your market, if you're in a buyer's market, for example, then it'll be common to see offers with a lot of conditions, like doing a home inspection or getting a lawyer review. But right now in Toronto, we are in a seller's market. Sellers do have an upper hand over buyers in this market because there's a high demand for housing, yet extremely low supply. That said, you don't see as many conditions and offers because in a competitive seller's market, too many conditions protecting the buyer will likely weaken your offer. However, regardless of the circumstances, I do always encourage people to include a financing condition in their offer. An offer that's conditional on financing is used to protect you, the buyer, by telling the seller that your offer to buy their property is conditional on you obtaining financing. Now, your realtor will draft up the offer for you, so they'll write up all those clauses on your behalf. But that said, you do want to make sure that you have a realtor who is local and someone who's aware of the common practices in your market, because legal wording can and will vary from contract to contract. So, for example, I always make sure that when I draft up, say, a financing condition for my client, that it's worded in a way that financing isn't just obtained, but that the terms of the mortgage are satisfactory to my buyer. That way, if there are any issues with the lender, then my client isn't going to get in any trouble because of any legalities with the paperwork. Now, once you've submitted your offer, the seller then has 3 options. They can either accept your offer, reject it, or they can counter it. If you get a counter offer, then you're going to go back and forth in negotiations. You may need to compromise on small things, but a good realtor will work hard to protect your best interests and help get you what you want. At this point, you'll also need to have a deposit ready. A deposit in Toronto is typically required within 24 hours of acceptance of an offer. The deposit amount in Toronto is typically around 1% of the purchase price of the home. If the sale falls through because you and the seller can't come to an agreement on the terms of your offer, then your deposit is returned. But if you do reach an agreement and all the terms of the offer have been fulfilled, then your sale is final and your deposit is then applied towards the purchase price of your home. Step 6, close on the home. As soon as your offer accepted, your deposit has been submitted, and there are no more conditions that need to be fulfilled, then you have what's called a firm agreement, and the closing process begins. Closing is the point at which ownership and possession of the property have been transferred from the seller over to you. It's a day you provide payment for your new home, and it's also when you pay other closing costs as well. Because when you purchase a home in Toronto, there are closing costs that you need to pay. The 2 largest components of these closing costs being the land transfer tax and the legal fees. To calculate the cost of the land transfer tax on your next home, I do have a link for you down in the description below. In terms of the legal fees in Toronto, they do vary depending on the work, but can typically run you anywhere between $800 and $1,800. Overall, you can expect your closing costs in Toronto to be about 3 to 5% of the purchase price of your home. But that's it. Once your mortgage is transferred, your deposit is paid, and the paperwork is signed, you officially have purchased your next home. You're handed the keys, and now it's time to celebrate because congratulations, you just hit a huge milestone in your life. All that's left is to move in and enjoy life in your new home. So I hope that gave you a better understanding of how to buy a house in Toronto. And if you're looking to buy a house in Toronto yourself, then give me a call. I would love to help you out. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, just give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or even schedule a Zoom call, all down in the description below. I'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Toronto. In the meantime, check out this video on some of the best areas in Toronto to move to, and I will see you around town. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.